I want to do this session on distraction, and I'm thinking that it will probably link into feeling somehow guilty or responsible for others. But I will try to hone in on the issue a little bit. How it's occurring is just really, like I said, distraction. Okay, so it's worry. Worried about others or self? Okay, so it's worried about others. It's like the inability to focus on what's important to oneself because of worry for others. And I would just like to bring in the sense that it's okay. It's okay. Everything is going to be okay. So people like this could have grown up where there was a lot of chaos, a lot of maybe hardship or dysfunction in the adults in their life. And it could be very difficult to focus on just being a child and just doing what they want to do because of what's going on with the adults. I already feel this shifting. I'm feeling sadness, that powerlessness. It's kind of like guilt, but it's grief. It's grief of not being able to do anything, of just what this might be just an empathetic response. Could be sensitive to the grief and the surroundings. Okay, there we go. So this could come in families with divorces. We could be looking at children who grew up in separation, parents who are separating, especially when grief was going unacknowledged or suppressed. And child could be affected by this. It could have also be changing location, moving cultures, moving homes, job losses. There's lots of ways that this could be experienced. I'm recalling just a certain one. And that would be through like separation and families dissolving essentially. And that being a source of distraction for the child. Yeah, I really feel that down the back, neck. It's very preoccupying. Which is interesting because I had wanted to do a video around preoccupation or, what's the word? Hypervigilance. But this is actually the preoccupation. Fear of... Someone in their adulthood could experience this and when they are fearing loss. So they might, for instance, be preoccupied with their partner's well-being because deep down they're experiencing this kind of grief again. Or any sense of grief is somehow linked with this preoccupation, which I was calling distraction. What's really coming through is preoccupation. In worst case scenarios, it could even come through as like obsession, but it's coming through really as preoccupation. Yeah, I feel it now. I feel the grief it's also coming through a little bit like loneliness. I think it's sensitive to the loneliness in the surroundings, though. No, it's a feeling alone, which is very different than loneliness. This is feeling alone. Possibly just alone in that experience. No, it's feeling alone. This could happen from the feeling of like family and togetherness, going from that to not that. Okay, wow, yeah, I feel that. Feeling alone. Yeah, I feel that. Okay. Sadness. There's a vulnerability there too. It really is grief. It really is this sense of loss of warmth, loss of wholeness, loss of family, and that feeling of family, not the individual people, but that feeling. Wow, there we go, that feeling. So this could happen for people who've lost their parents, people who are separated from war-torn regions. There's a lot of ways that you could experience this loss of family, loss of warmth, loss of hearth and home and togetherness, that loss of togetherness. I'm really feeling that. There's a lot of compassion coming through and mercy, comfort, solace. It's still coming through. Acceptance, there's an acceptance energy coming through. And comfort. You feel that in the heart. I would like this video to be applicable for anyone who experiences preoccupation, even just regarding the fear of loss. So even if there wasn't a separation in that family, but that the child for some reason thought they could be separated, whether through abandonment, rejection, relocation, just any reason that child would be afraid and therefore preoccupied with the family system instead of enjoying their own life. I'm hoping to bring in energy. My intention is to bring in energy to support that on any scale, because I know that is a big part in codependency, is that preoccupation stemming from a fear of abandonment or loss. And so, real or imagined in a sense, like a perceived threat or like you said, a divorce or something, a real separation. So bringing in that support. I'm getting that she'll help with an ability to let go. I felt something just let go. And I'm feeling a vulnerability. It's almost like there's bringing in composure for those moments of uncertainty or vulnerability, and just bringing in a sense of safety and composure. And this isn't like a forced composure, but it's like being held, or holding a space without needing to react out of that or seek out of that. To just be in that space. Good. I'm really feeling it move into the sacral now, and like the deep sacral, almost the root. Really, it might be the root. Okay, so what I'm getting here is, if in any way this is ancestral, so this is just also something your ancestors went through, like your family system is shaky, has been shaky, has life, I mean, it could be any reason. It could be tumultuous, like fightings or breakups, or like I said, relocations in war-torn regions. Like there are a lot of reasons that this could be in a family line. And so regardless of if you experience it within your lifetime, but if it's still in your root chakra, this is now reaching there. It feels so much like relief, like my body is like an exhale, like it just relaxed a lot there. This should really help. You may need to sleep for a few days, not like straight. I mean, maybe, but I just mean like in the next few days, if you feel tired or if you start crying, or I mainly expect this channel to be for light workers, so you probably already know the basics. Drink lots of water, support yourself if this causes movement that is coming through a release. But with this one in particular, make some space for emotional release and for your body to decompress if this helps release any fight or flight that was still turned on for you. Because I really felt something shift in the root chakra. And that's your foundational structure there. I still feel the energy coming through to really support that shift. And I really feel it from the root straight up through to the crown, like out the crown. I feel so sleepy just channeling that. And with whatever releases have happened here. Check the time on this video. I will also go into the hypervigilance, and the hypervigilance and for the hypervigilance, I'm getting more of this stemming from, I might need to do No, I'm just going to keep doing it in this video, even though I probably should split it into two. Okay, the hypervigilance is coming from a different source. That would be, we just dealt with sort of grief, but now this is coming regarding danger. So whether this is like danger again, I'm going to use the same examples because that's coming to me, like war-torn regions, political, like dangerous neighborhoods, like actual threats around or violence in the home, alcoholic behavior, like alcoholism and abusive behavior, like anything actually physically threatening, as well as emotional threats like yelling and screaming, or threatening to kick out, or like just this, which can trigger that fight or flight in a child. So we're going to bring in, and that can cause hypervigilance later on as the child is afraid of such things happening again. And so I can feel that already. The energy is coming in to support. I feel the energy of safety and calm. Wow, I really feel that. There's also grief in this, not grief, sadness, fear. Fear, it's fear, but I feel it like sad, but it's fear. Wow, yeah, look, I feel that. I'm looking at it here. And when you're that young, and small, things that adults think are normal or, tolerable for a little child are not. They're much bigger to that child. So sometimes parents don't realize the effect this is having on a little one. Or they might think they're keeping the child away from it by being in another room, or, they don't understand what's happening or something. But this is affecting the nervous system, and just that, again, that fight or flight and fear within the little one. And I'm sure this could happen at an older age, but this is really an inner child that I'm addressing here in the hypervigilant state. And honestly, hypervigilance could be triggered by even criticism or harshness or things that coming from a primary caregiver do seem threatening. Because while adults can do that, like tolerate that kind of feedback, as a child coming from a primary caregiver does not feel like love or acceptance. If this energy comes with the energy of like rejection or shaming, it can be perceived as a threat as opposed to like corrective help. I hope what I'm saying is understandable, but I'm feeling that some kind of harsh energy. So this is why I'm saying that. If you experience a great deal of harshness, but enough to even trigger your nervous system is what I'm picking up here. Because it does activate that self-defense mechanism within one's being. I'm feeling it here. I'm also getting like confusion. What did I do wrong? These are all experiences I think that a little child could have in response to an adult that's not really in their emotional center when communicating with a child. Not really connected and intuitively present with them. Yeah, I feel that in the heart. I feel the energy of support coming through. So where feedback should have been given with support, we are bringing that support in now so that that feedback could be handled and utilized instead of internalized or felt as an attack. And feel that acceptance coming right in, that self-acceptance coming right in with that support. Yeah, I really feel that. Down the back. I feel a lot of these healings down the back for me. The muscles of the back and the spine. I'll go back to the hypervigilance really quick just to make sure that we got all of those fear-based energies, those that nervous system, fight or flight triggering associated with causing that hypervigilance. Okay, so the nervous system. Okay, now it's actually coming through as not causing hypervigilance, but it's causing paralysis. So in any case where the result, the freeze response essentially was triggered and causing sort of a paralysis response, could be afraid to do something wrong, afraid to move forward, afraid to be attacked, to get hit, to be criticized, to be rejected, where the safest thing to do was nothing. I'm really feeling that. It's amazing how much the nervous system is still so alarmed, even in that still state, you know? Anything else that I need to look at on this subject for this video? Anything else? Coming through the breath, it's affected the breathing. That fear is causing breathing issues. Fear of breathing, fear of making a mistake, fear of taking in life, fear of being, fear of being. So in some cases where you're not even sure what you've done wrong or how to do it right, maybe, or just feeling like no matter what you do, it's wrong. There's this fear of just existing, fear of being, not existing, but like being anything. And therefore like breathing and living and taking chances and trying. I'm still feeling that in the lungs. Fear of breathing. There's something about breathing here. Just that it's important, and the lungs is where we store grief. So it could be a fear of processing that grief, or the grief is associated with an inability to breathe, like to live fully. That's moving, that's clicking in something. So this is actually causing like a fear of living on some level. Fear of really living. Wow, I feel that now. Fear of receiving, fear of breathing. Fear of the new, fear of It's a fear of breathing. That's just like what's coming through, a fear of breathing. Maybe in some households, and there was a fear of making noise. Because I keep thinking of what the story my aunt said, where she learned to hold her breath and like she was hiding in the closet or the car or something. And I'm also used to try to be quiet to like not upset anyone, and I'm feeling that it was such a profound fear that I was afraid to even breathe, to make sound. Like if you're up at night past like your parents, and I don't know, it's definitely coming through. It's just like such intense fear of making sound, a fear of even breathing. It's interesting. It's so uncomfortable because it really pits someone against their own nature and their own spirit and what they can't even control. You can't control your breath. And yet here we have what feels like someone trying to control their own breath. And it's so uncomfortable as I like look into this issue. And it's so sad. There's such a sadness here. Just like I can't change who I am. I can't help who I am. Or who I am makes me sad because it causes problems for others, upsets others. Okay, there we go. Okay, I really feel the energy coming in for that. Yeah. I might do another video on this. This will be of great help for people who grew up in dysfunctional, abusive, alcoholic, chaotic houses. Even if there wasn't physical violence, there could have been emotional or just the environment is this way. I think this was a start. I have a feeling I might do another video because this is quite it affects someone greatly, but this is a start. Let me know if you experience any shifts from this.